Yeah.
There it is,
Mr. Moody's gonna be here in a minute.
Hey, sir. Nice looking out there. Yeah, you just played. Yeah. I'm all right. Thanks, man. How are you?
Yes. Yes. He said it'd be just a few minutes.
Yeah. Everyone stand, Mr. Dent, please, and bring your phone up, please.
Father in heaven, we come again now thanking you for life, health, and strength. We come blessing your name because your name worthy to be blessed. We thank you, Father, for your goodness and your mercy. We ask you to forgive us for our sins and we forgive those that trespass against us. We thank you now, Father. We thank you for conditions as well as they are. We bless your name again. Father, we do pray for this country. We pray for other countries that's war-torn and with other destruction. We just bless your name for them. Father, you knew about this from the foundation of the earth, and you bless accordingly. Thank you, Father, for what you're going to do and what you've done thus far. These blessings and all other blessings we ask. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to our meeting this Tuesday, August 26, 2025 at 6 p.m. We have a conference line set up. Number there is 1-917-900-1022. Access code is 32347#. This is not a toll-free number, and you may be subject to long-distance charges according to your long-distance plan. When the chairperson opens the meeting for public comment, please follow the below instructions. If you wish to speak, please dial *5. The moderator will unmute your line when it's your turn to speak and notify you by announcing the last 4 digits of your telephone number. Please announce your name and address. You will be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. Any person wishing to address the board regarding an agenda item will be given 3 minutes for comment. A commenter may only speak one time for each agenda item. And with that said, this is a workshop, so we won't see any voting going on, so we will move on to item 3. The board to continue to discuss solid waste operations. I believe Commissioner Moody had put this.
He did.
Is he on his way?
He is. He said it'd be just a few minutes.
Give Commissioner Moody just a few minutes to. Hey. Commissioner Moody, we already kicked off with the prayer and the pledge, so we're kind of on our first item. I know you had mentioned bringing this solid waste item to the board, so if you wanted to.
Right. It's just a situation where if we don't get a handle on it, it's gonna get worse and worse. We've talked about it for years, kicking it up down the road, kicking that can and kicking that can. But if we don't go to nothing but stickers, we hurt ourselves. Passing the cards around is just too easy. And the only people that are really affected in any way would be people that rent places. And they can take the sticker, put it on, put their house key on it, you know, on them. Put something together, back and put their head, and put the house key for the rental house on it, and won't be no problem. I did it when I had rental houses. I mean, never had no problem. They could go to the dump. They had the call, you know, the sticker on the thing, and that's what I did. Anybody else could too. And Jerry and me talked before about the situation. I see people pull up to the dump with trees 8 or 9 foot long. It takes 2 or 3 people to handle them to get them over in the dump. And that's a problem in the area when they get there with all that. I mean, it's a mess in them dumpsters. But people need to cut it up smaller where we can get it in the incinerator. Y'all have to probably cut some of it up on to get it in the incinerator. And I just, that's the issue. And honestly, we've got a world of people out of the city carrying garbage to our dump site. And I mean, some people go there out of the city, they got a place in the city and in the county. And I mean, they got a sticker, but it puts our employees at a disadvantage for them to say anything to somebody unless, you know, if they got a sticker, it won't be no question. And they don't need to be there if they don't have one. I mean, it's just a no-brainer for if we're putting pressure on employees to have to ask them people, oh, have you got one gentleman the other day, he didn't have his card, he cussed the employee out. And finally, he stayed there, he called his wife on the phone and she brought the card. You know, but if he had a sticker on the truck, I mean, it wouldn't be no question. And I mean, that kind of thing happens a lot. I stopped at several different dump sites, including mine, and asked the employees what kind of issues they have, and they'll tell you, you know, and the lady said she got, you know, talked to real bad. And wasn't no sense in it, man, it had struck, you had a sticker on it. And people, I mean, the stickers are not that expensive. If they sell their truck or wreck their truck or their car, they can buy another sticker. When you're in the hunting club and you trade trucks, you got to buy a new sticker, and they're not that expensive. I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I don't know if anybody supports me on that or not, but
questions of what you just said. First of all, with city people, and I know I know that's being abused, but I know with my family, Richard and I, we buy 5 stickers a year because we have 5 properties and 4 of them are in the county. So if somebody saw one of us going to a roll-off, they would think, oh, she lives in the city. So I don't know, you know, I just want to make that clear. And the second thing is with the stickers. Now, would we send out new stickers annually?
Well, you can do it every 2 years, but we need to get them at least every 2 years. I would say, wouldn't you, Mr. Wong?
I think it's been about 2 years since we have changed the color, but everyone knows it seems like it causes chaos every time we change. And it normally takes months for us to either get all the stickers out or people, threw away their letter. And if we do that again, as busy as our building department is, we probably need to have an employee for a while that we can utilize for that.
What did we, was it sent a tax bill at one time?
That's good.
On the tax collector, I think?
Yeah, so,
Backing up with stickers, if we think stickers is the way to go, that's fine, the way to go, but I think backing up to the landfill, it's fair to say that landfill, or the roll-off sites are not set up to take in all of this construction debris and the big trees where, to me, the construction debris, someone that's hauling it off and getting paid to haul it off, so, and that's building material such as that, so the big trees and such that are probably hauled off, most of that's probably done by a contractor that's probably getting paid, so to speak, to haul it off, so generally speaking, we have the incinerator out there. These roll sites are probably mainly designed for as far as yard waste, trimming hedges and such as that, just small items such as that, not big trees and big limbs.
it's considered yard trash. So y'all, we did give y'all a list of accepted solid waste, prohibited materials, that really is just taken from our ordinance. So construction debris is considered prohibited. Any type of land clearing activity, vegetation is prohibited,
It's
yes.
prohibited, but I think we're taking it, right?
Oh, it's showing up.
So it's getting there, so what I'm saying is, we have rules that we're obviously not following on our own, because folks that are tearing the house, or you've got construction going on at their home, the right thing for them to do is call, I'm gonna say Pops or whoever, have a can drop at their location, and then they get rid of their waste, their construction debris that way. Now, as far as helping out with, trees and such, big trees and such as that, is there any way that we can open up where folks could take the limbs and trees to the incinerator to be?
It already is.
Well, it is opened up, but the problem is the people that show up are bringing in something we can't take, because we can't go over 4 foot and 12 inches.
At the incinerator? I got you.
And there's a charge for it.
So then, how often does it happen they're coming in?
None hardly.
So
The
you-
biggest thing, they try to get in at the roll-off sites. That's where we have the issue at.
So are we directing them to the incinerator, so to speak, and then the folks?
Well,
they come
they'll
in,
look
they
at
come
it.
in and say, hey, you can't put it here at all, but it need, I can go ahead and tell you, go to the incinerator where that's at, but I can go ahead and tell you, the pieces are too big, you need to
That's
be
what
4 or
happens.
5 foot pieces.
That's what happens. They turn them away. Normally, if it's 4 foot, 12 inches, they'll take it at the roll-off. But if it's bigger, they'll run them out, or usually, until they start
Well, I
fighting
mean,
with them. But let me go back to the sticker a little bit, and while we're on this subject. The sticker's great. It curbs a lot of it and everything. But then you got the guy with the sticker that has a yard service or debris pickup, and they show up, it's on the paper in here, they'll show up 3 times a day, 2 or 3 times a week. And that's the people we have a lot of issues with. battling them. And when I say that, they know that they're taking advantage of the county at that point. I probably need some direction on what you want me to do with these people.
I would say, you know,
Because my people are basically a little scared of them when they,
what I would say is, as long as they're bringing it in within reason, then, I understand they're probably coming in without a sticker or without, maybe they do have a card. In that case, they might come in without a sticker. So,
normally they have a sticker and they'll just keep coming. And they've got like a trailer and they'll have a lawnmower and weed eaters and
yeah,
that they're running a business. I know for a fact a lot of them are,
for sure.
because I track them and people
Could
come.
we say fair to say that by following the rules that we even have, if we were following the rules, we would cut back on some of the controversy over the roll stops being full? At time, we've got roll stops being full, if we're not taking all this excess stuff that really should be taken, then you're probably gonna cut down on some of and you may even cut back on some of your fuel costs, because you're
Absolutely.
taking
And
illegitimate stuff.
they're making a living off us on the county. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of them doing it.
You know,
Well, you know, sometimes we have people that work in our yard for us. I'm just gonna play the devil's advocate right for a minute. Sometimes the people that work for us in our yard, they will haul off stuff for us, okay? And then, I don't know if they're working for anybody else or not, but I know when they're working for us and what they take, okay? So, I'm already paying the $178.74, whatever it is, times 5. But, so why would how do you deal with that, Gary? I mean, we're
Well,
already
what you gotta look at, if somebody does a job, or anybody comes in as a business, if they're doing side work as yard clearing, debris pickup, or whatever, they're getting paid to do that. So they should add a fee on if they have to take it somewhere else. I don't think the county should be responsible for that.
I just don't think it's right for me, for instance,
Oh.
to have to, I pay the $174, and then I've got to pay for it to be
Yeah.
dumped again, just because somebody's working for me and they're taking mine.
well, I don't know that you're gonna be needed, I don't think it would be right to charge them for regular yard stuff that that's coming out of the county that would normally be brought to the law side anyway, just because someone, maybe older folks can't do it, rather than hire someone. to do
How would you
it.
know that?
Well, I don't, but I can tell you what they do at the landfill, and I don't know if this is even, I don't know if it's even, applicable to do this, but I know at the landfill, when you've got 4 counties there, when whoever comes in, they say, hey, this comes from Taylor County. And can the roll-off attendant, can the folks coming in bring it? Can they maybe put in an address, log in an address where it's coming from? And I don't wanna put more work on someone, but I mean, you gotta track it somehow.
I think that, if I may, I think the issue is, say that you have someone who does yard work for people, which is completely legitimate, I get it. And they have a card from one of the property owners, but say they have 4 other customers who don't pay the assessment. That's what's kind of hard to track is, because we don't know who of their customers pay the assessment and who don't. So I think, is that what you're saying, Gary? So that's where we sometimes run into difficulty, and when we have folks who maybe obviously run some type of lawn service, and they have a card, or a sticker, whatever we ask of them, but it's obvious they're contractors, but we don't have any way to identify them as contractors. They don't have a sign on their truck or whatever. And they may go to several different roll-off sites several times a day, because maybe that's where the customers are. We just don't
But
know.
if they're bringing in waste that we say is legitimate to bring in, then.
If you pay the assessment. Right.
Right.
Well, if
We just don't know.
they're coming in 3 or 4 times a day, then it seems like to me that they're probably a contractor.
Correct.
But if I've got this somebody that's not in business. It's just somebody that helps us every now and then. And I give them my card.
Right.
Take this and take it down there because this is my little bit of trash or however much it is. And I pay the fee. So I don't think that I should have to pay again. But I want to go back to the cards again because we know that renters many times don't return cards. I've had that happen with people that rent from
You put it
us.
on the house key, is what I did. I had to hook with a chain to the house key.
But when they moved,
Sticker or
oh,
card?
okay, I see what you're saying, but some of them will take that card with them and you never hear from them again. I mean, seriously.
I think you said to do away with the card, and I'm gonna use the
Yeah,
sticker.
I'm talking about the sticker. You know, the sticker itself can be laminated to something, put a hole through it, put a chain on it till you key to your house. You know, that's what I did at one of the houses.
If we were able to continue to use the stickers that we have and not use the cards, wouldn't that be quite a savings and not having to mail out the notices? I mean, do we have an idea of
That would be.
how much the cost would be to go back through the process? I mean, what I'm trying to see is if we go just with the sticker system and continue to use the stickers we have, I think you may be able to track that and not have to go back through all the costs with postage.
Well, I'm not sure what the cost is, but just like one lady told me, she said, I sold my car and I left the sticker on it.
Right.
You know, she's gonna have to have a new sticker.
Sure. She
Yeah.
can purchase another
But
sticker.
that sticker's still on that car, she sold her car to him, and they lived in the city. So, you know, I mean, and one lady told me she didn't want a sticker on the outside of her car. I said, all you got to do is open your door, stick it right inside the jamb right there on the door. When you open your door to dump, they can see the sticker standing right there. No question. You just open your door, the sticker is plain view right there.
So outside of, whether it's, even disregard the sticker or the card, whether it's a sticker or a card or a big old flyer, if we just follow the rules,
Right.
if we follow the rules and didn't take construction debris at the roll-off site and didn't take the big trees at the roll-off site, who cares what they come in there with?
That would be great.
I mean, tell the tenants that, hey, we're not taking it here, you gotta take this to the incinerator out of the landfill, but I'm gonna tell you, if they cut it up into 4 or 5 foot pieces, they're not gonna accept it, and people with the construction debris, you gotta go to, if you didn't already get a dumpster brought in by Pops, you gotta go to the landfill in Greenville. And who cares what they come in with, a sticker on a car?
I think whatever we do, LaWanda, you need to have employee training. And when you get new employees, you need to have training again, and maybe twice a year, just to make sure that everybody remembers this is what you do. But I know some things that happen, and when you got roll-offs that are close to a county line, and you've got somebody that lives just right across the road, and they're in another county, but whoever's working at the roll-off, they've been neighbors forever. And so it's very difficult for them, I mean, to say, no, you can't bring it here, you've got to take it 15 miles down the road, which that's what should happen, but I'm telling you, I don't think that's gonna happen very often.
Well, I mean, even at the roll-off sites, maybe it would help if you had some little cards in there printed out with the address to where the incinerator is at the Hampton Springs, on the Hampton Springs Road, and the address to the landfill. That's what you gotta do.
Well, let me ask you this.
How
But you
much
guys,
would we save a year if we didn't take any construction debris or limbs? But what kind of figure are we looking at?
I'm not sure on that. There's a tonnage, you can run a report on that. The key thing is this right here. When the roll-off attendant has got good intentions, guy pulls up there, and Jim knows this, he's been down at Carlton, Mike knows it, y'all know it. And the guy gets highly abusive when he says, you can't dump them limbs here. And then it gets really silly. I've directed them just to walk away and tell them, have a good day. And if they keep on, just dial 911. But what happens, that same person will leave that site and go to another site. You know what I'm saying? There should be something when if they show out at a roll-off site, the law is involved, there should be something that if they're banned from there or something, something's gotta be done where they don't come back in there. I don't think it's right for them to keep coming back and harassing.
Yeah, ban, but you gotta.
We have no trespass, folks.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's normally for potential violence or if it.
And they get silly now with them people down there. I mean, they do.
I know.
And it's sad. It's like that. I don't understand it, but
Every change is gonna have a little heartburn to it, you're gonna have, all the rules are gonna be a little heartburn to it. And when everybody figures out that this is the rule that we gotta go by, then I believe you would see those to be isolated.
on the debris that you guys are looking at, what do you consider construction debris, C and D? What would you guys?
There's a
Is the
definition
definition, is that what?
in our ordinance. So, hang on, there's,
So
it's
we
on
board,
the first
board
page.
or happy house?
Thank you, Mr. Dempsey.
You say that should be volume driven?
Well, no, I'm just saying, what are you looking at? You know, are you saying the couch and a mattress, is that household? You know, I want to be kind
That's
of.
not, so this is what the ordinance, let me read the ordinance. Construction debris means materials generally not water soluble and non-hazardous in nature, including but not limited to steel, glass, brick, concrete or roofing material, pipe, gypsum, wallboard, and lumber. Construction debris shall include materials from the construction or destruction of a structure as part of a construction or demolition project, and including rocks, soil, stumps, and other vegetation material which normally results from land development. So I think what Gary's alluding to, if someone comes into a roll-off site with a piece of tin, or they tore down their shed, moving forward, we would say that is construction debris, it is not allowed here, end of story.
And something like a sofa would come under bulk trash,
Yes.
same as carpet or, I guess appliances, would that come under bulk too?
So white goods are accepted because we can recycle them.
Return them, yeah.
Yeah, we can recycle white goods, which is, refrigerators, whatever. Bulk trash is accepted solid waste. So we could take couches, mattresses, etc. That's considered bulk trash. But so bulk trash shall not include white goods, automobiles, and automobile components, internal combustion engines, or construction debris. It includes carpeting, but the ordinance is pretty clear about prohibited materials. So that means any lumber that's brought in, we would say, no, we cannot take that. Because what we don't want, and jump in, Gary, is for there to be any gray area. So all of our attendants understand, it doesn't matter how much they bring in. It doesn't, but what's gonna happen is someone's gonna have something in their back of their pickup truck, and it's gonna be a few pieces of lumber and a piece of tin because maybe they tore something down, and we're going to have to say no. If we're going to strictly follow our ordinance, we're gonna have to say no.
And what, if we go this route, then, in each roll-off station, there should be clearly bulk trash, and then list as many things under there as you can. C and D, construction, and, list as many things as you can, so the roll-off tenant is very clear, and he can say, this is our rules right here, and he can show it to somebody.
The sign needs to say, household garbage only, is what it needs to say. That's what we're trying to get to, that's what we need to get to. We need a sign, household garbage only, have a number of pots there under, if you have anything else, call these folks, they'll bring you a dumpster.
There is some vegetative and some small limb debris, cabbage, frond and stuff like that. It can come in, and it says can come in, so make new signs, put them at the.
How you gonna distinguish it?
List it, just like it is in the ordinance.
But now, you know, they bring a trailer load. They bring a trailer load from,
But I want to ask Conrad though, back in 96 or whatever the year was, where everything changed, you know what I'm talking about, Luanda, where, you know, it used to be household garbage only, and then around 96 sticks out in my mind for some reason. It was changed that it would include all the stuff that we're talking about.
Right.
Now, what would it take to go back to the way it was in 96, Conrad?
I think you probably just want to amend an ordinance and put some penalties in there.
And didn't it have something to do with the payment?
So, I don't know if it was 96, it may have been 2006 or
Maybe so,
2006.
yeah.
So what happened was, at that time, the decision was made to increase the assessment and take into consideration that, say, every 7 years or how often people remodel their homes, and we wanted to be able to accommodate the increase in materials by increasing the assessment. But just by definition, you know, only, we should not include those materials. So the present ordinance, I think, really narrows down what we can and cannot take. Because it's primarily, you know, the accepted solid waste is really laid out. I think at the time that the ordinance was adopted, there was a real concern about, and I think it was probably primarily vegetative debris. You know, how do we not accept that anymore? So, and then there's so much angst over, you know, how to collect the payment, whether we charge by the yard or whatever. But I think if you just rip the Band-Aid off and say, this is what we're going to follow, we could track it and make sure that we are following our ordinance.
Yeah, I want to ask Gary. Gary, in Madison County, for instance, they have canisters. They don't have a roll-off. You know, it's just these big green things, and you go up there and clearly it only holds household garbage. So where do the people, say for instance, in Madison County, where do they take their limbs and all that stuff? Do they take it to the landfill?
It goes to the landfill, yes.
Yeah, they're
And
right
so-
there.
I mean, they're in,
That would be a hardship for people in Steinhatchee.
Absolutely, and Keaton Beach.
Yeah.
And anywhere, I mean, that's not, you know, Shady Grove's pretty close to Greenville, but other than that, really no one else has that kind of proximity. That would work. I
Well,
mean,
the only option to that would be put a scale in Steinhatchee and put a scale in Perry and weigh every bit of it and charge them for what you got. And then we could still do what we're doing, but we'd have to have a scale. Because if you're gonna give them inch, they're gonna take a mile, they'll come up with a dump trailer, you know.
I think it at least should be considered because of that distance, Commissioner. I mean, there are a number of folks that are not gonna be able to go to the incinerator, or they're not going to go to the incinerator. So I think I understand your comparison in the sense that, you know, the mileage from Shady Grove, somebody may say, hey, it's 15 minutes, I can be in Greenville, you know, at the landfill. Somebody in Steinhatchee is gonna say, that's not gonna work. That's just not gonna happen. So I think at least you had a
$15 a pickup to come in.
fee for a pickup,
But in
which,
my case, my truck, because I'm not putting my garbage in my Tahoe, and I can't lift my garbage cans in the back of my truck. If I brought my garbage cans in, would I be charged or turned away?
No, I think it'd be, no, not household. Household trash would never be charged. And
Well, I'm talking about,
Yeah, if you brought it in a regular garbage can, you know.
they're never charging. But I'm talking like a pickup load. If you come in with debris on a pickup load, let's say 2 by 4s or whatever, and you say $15 a truck.
But you could even compare the back of a truck to 8 by 8 or a 10 by 10 trailer.
You can do the cubic yard on it.
And say, if it's bigger than, if this size is gonna be.
And that paper I gave you kind of gives an idea what a pickup load cubic yard is and all that. It's easy math.
And does the trailer have 6-foot sides on it?
Well,
Or is
that's
it
gonna be considered a dump trailer, has that.
Today I went by my dump down there, cemetery. There was a fella had a gooseneck trailer full of long trees, and there was two fellas, they was doing all they could do to get the trees off the gooseneck trailer over in the dumpster. They was sticking out the end of the dumpster and all kind of stuff. I didn't even stop, I just seen it when I went by. And that's what puts Gary and all of them, and they can't, if something's sticking out of the dumpster, they can't even haul it down the highway.
I have to cut it.
You got to cut it.
So, in respect to, maybe we're still trying to get away from taking all this stuff at these roll-off sites, so in respect to the citizens on the south end of town, maybe look at Coutny Beach being the catch location for, I mean, people can drive 20 minutes to Coutny Beach to, and, you know, maybe even do the same with the Hampton Springs site, that have a location there that folks could, or like the Osceola and Coutny type people can go. I tell you, you get right from where you're sitting at, it's 30 minutes to that landfill, all it is.
I think some of that had to do with populations and what the volumes are gonna be there for your usage. So, I think that would be a greater driver versus, just saying X location. But I think that you don't necessarily have to limit that to one or two sites. If you're saying this limited amount is this cost, then all our attendants will be aware. And again, it gives the opportunity for some of these hardship residents that are not gonna be able to go to Greenville or these other places.
Well,
So that's the concern. I
What the
see.
pickup does for me, it limits what this, if a guy's a contractor, he's wanting to bring in the large trailer full of,
Right,
at that point, that's what he does.
that's what they do.
That's what they do. They don't bring pickup loads in, they bring in just a massive. All the household trash, we take at every side, just like you bring in. But when they pull up there with a pickup load and you go, that's $15, and you look at it and you can see there's debris in there or whatever, that limits that contractor. He's going, oh my Lord, I ain't bringing this up here at pickup at a time. That curbs that. And to get a price on that, we really wouldn't know how much it'd save or whatever till we ran them figures for about 6 months or a year. Because a lot of people are gonna start burning their yard waste, or they're gonna start doing this. To get, like me, my yard waste, I burn. I mean, I just throw it out there, and, I got a little burn pile, I burn it. Now my debris and stuff like that, I may go throw a mattress away, I don't know, like most people, but about 5 years, I chunk it. So I don't haul a lot, and it's just me and my wife, but some have large families, they may have more. But the pickup load, to me, would limit what people could really bring into the site. They're not gonna bring in 10-foot, 18-foot stuff coming in. Sheet
You're
rock
saying
stack.
that would limit the volumes in total, and it would be something that's more compatible across all of our sites.
We can manage that. I think that's easier to manage, because when they bring in a trailer load, normally a trailer load will be multiple items in there. It isn't the same stuff. Then you're gonna have a fight there with the attendant says, you can't bring that in, it's a mixed load. That guy's gonna go sideways at that point. It happens all the time. I mean, you said it's got sheet rock and all kinds of other debris in there, then he's got some other stuff mixed with it that he could bring in. He's gonna go, well, it's got this in there, and you still got this other. It trumps that. Say, we can't take it, because
You saying if it fits in the back of a pickup truck, particularly.
let them go $15 and you, howdy doody.
That would be a good start right there.
Maybe we can try that on trial basis.
We could try that, and that was worth $15 a truckload, and like he said, a contractor's not gonna cut it up in small stuff.
They're not gonna do it.
He's not gonna do it and load it in a pickup and carry it up there.
And I think you
He
can
didn't
get,
have but one tree.
you get tree debris in and everything that you need. Like my yard waste, or maybe Pam, tree debris would fit in a pickup, wouldn't it, Pam?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that would eliminate a lot of that, and that would slow that volume down till we could manage it. The key thing is this, and with the city and contractors and all that, we're getting abused a lot on that, and there's money out there we could use in other areas to buy trucks or, equipment or whatever, versus taking the 1 cent sales, trying to manage that. And it gives us a little more direction with the roll-off attendants where I can say, this is what we do. A pickup load's $15 and we'll take it, whatever it is.
You're saying no trailers at all?
No trailers.
No trailers.
If somebody comes in with a 8-foot or a 10-foot trailer.
No, throw it in the back of your truck and we can manage that.
You could balance collecting that cash at those.
I think I can set up a system where it won't be 100, but I think we can narrow it down. I can track
We can
it.
account for it as far as our
We
clerk.
cannot take cash. It would only have, we could only take credit cards.
What about like the clerk, maybe he could set us up a QR code system? I mean, I think we've done this at the boat ramp, right?
If we have to do that, I mean, we can make it work. And just like this here, when they go to the boat ramp, they know they gotta pay. If they come to we hand out flyers in the next 3 months and say, hey, October 1st, we're doing this, or December 1st.
January 1st.
Yeah, January 1st, this is where we're going. So if you show up, you gotta be able to pay for this. If you go to Walmart, you don't get groceries free. I mean, they haven't gave me none, so.
And that would give us time as people come in and get permits for construction or demolition. We could hand them a flyer and let them know effective January 1st or whatever date you decide upon. You know, we're no longer taking trailers of anything other than household garbage at our roll-off sites, and have a list of where they can get a container. And that would give people plenty of time.
We can make a sign, a big sign out at each site, and just like you said, set it up, explaining what, this is what we're following the rules of pickup load, and if you need a container, you can call Waste Pro or Pops, and we'll have numbers. We can get flyers out, run it in the paper, but it just gives us a direction. I ain't say it's bulletproof, but I do think it's a plan that we can look at. If it don't work, we can pull the plug on it and go another direction.
Well, it's a start. We gotta start somewhere, and,
That's right.
and I'm in favor of having if we go with stickers, that we have stickers sent out annually, because I know people move. I had somebody not long ago that he called me and he said, well, I had a sticker and I had it on my trailer and I went down there and they wouldn't take it because the sticker was expired. But I think if we did it, they're gonna be mailing the tax bill anyway.
Well, see, here's how it works. So what we have done in the past is we have made just a generic bright yellow piece of paper and it goes in with the tax bills. And it says effective January 1st, we're changing the color of our decals. Present this paper to the roll-off site attendant and you can exchange that for one decal or whatever. And that way we just pay for the stuffing of the envelopes. I mean, I can check and see what it would cost to do the mail outs, but that is a lot of,
It is a lot.
that is a lot. It's a lot of mailing.
Thousands and
Yeah,
thousands.
thousands and thousands.
It would be.
It's a lot.
It could be easily.
We,
That resident just purchase an additional decal? To replace the one, to help them be able to still access the site. And that way, maybe you wouldn't have to go to that extreme with all the costs with a mail out or notice.
So are y'all wanting to change the color of the decal?
I think if we're gonna try, what Mr. Womble said, is it would be possible to just use the current stickers in place. And for folks that need a replacement, that's understood. I think there's a way they can.
They call, we get about 5 or 8, 10 calls a day at the office, and they'll say, we moved here, or we lost our sticker, and we'll say, go to the roll-off site and have the roll-off attendant call us and verify your name, and we'll go in. We check it up, with the taxes. Confirm it, and then we tell the roll-off attendant, go ahead and give them a sticker.
Yeah, another idea too is, however many stickers somebody is allowed, and then if you need replacement ones, if your renter took it off, they took it off the wall that you're talking about or whatever, then I would charge, okay? Okay, an extra sticker is gonna cost you, I don't know, $15. I don't know what the magic number is. And that ensures that, they're gonna try to get those cards or those stickers back, because if I had to pay for many of those, I tell you what I'd do, I get the money up front from my renter. I say, okay, this is $15, I'm just using that. And if you hand me the sticker back when you leave, I'll refund your $15. If I don't get it back, I'm gonna keep your $15, and you get that on the front end. And that stops some of that. Nothing's gonna be 100%, you know,
I mean, you
nothing's.
can laminate it, hook it to the house key that they use on the rental house, and that would stop a lot of that.
Yeah, and a lot of them put their house key on their car keys too, you know, a lot of people do that, I do.
Right.
So I wouldn't want a sticker hanging on there.
Well, the wonder what would we need to do in order to, other than just change our behavior? We need to make any,
I don't believe so, because our ordinance is pretty clear about what we can accept and not accept. I don't know that unless y'all wanted to prohibit something in particular, I think we're okay if we just, if we just say, the hardest part is going to be the construction debris. And we just have to say no more. We're not, no lumber, no tin,
No trailers.
no trailers. And and absolutely no vegetative debris unless it's just yard trash, or if it's the acceptable size.
And then a pickup truck, not on the trailer.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm hearing.
I
And,
would rather just try the truck at first, because I think the trailer is gonna get a little much for
are you
them.
even saying though, just speaking, when you're saying in a truck, are you saying if they have any construction stuff?
Well, that's up to
in the
y'all.
truck?
If we could, if you wanna take a small amount, it's
Because I
fine.
understood that it was, hey, if you got a little bit of construction stuff in a truck, that was gonna be acceptable. So I don't
I
wanna
think if
get,
you were gonna do that, you'd have to include it in your ordinance to allow it, pickup, in that volume.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's not in the ordinance today.
If
It's not gonna be allowed.
if we just test, if we test the truck.
I work on my house little by little. I'd be willing to pay the $15 for the little truckload, no more than
If
I'm
we're
gonna.
accepting, if we're taking in and we're gonna charge, and I thought that's what I understood, the charge for the truck, the pickup truck was even if, now if they come in there with vegetative and acceptable debris, then there should be no charge in the pickup truck. But if we're gonna charge them, I was under the impression that charge is for the little bit of construction that might fit in the back.
that's probably okay, because then
I would
we
say
would
it's fair. I
we
mean,
wouldn't be
we
using
can-
the
We can
assessment.
test that,
Yeah.
Now, if a guy comes in like Pam said and got 8-foot sides and it's stacked straight up,
I'll take it.
yeah, it's a done deal.
Now, if, say I've got a gate, I've got a 5-foot gate that goes in on my property, and I need to replace that gate, and it'll fit in the back of a pickup truck, I guess that could still be considered C and D.
Cut it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a small amount, because it's not gonna be a volume that goes towards a trailer load.
So there is
It
some
would be
discretion.
allowable.
So there's some discretion.
Well, I mean, I think if
Nothing
it's
above
in
the
that
sidewalk,
pickup,
that would say.
I think, generally speaking, if you come in the back of if you're coming in the back of a pickup, and like you said, not with 10-foot sides on it, but just in the pickup, as if you drive off the lot, and you might have an 8-foot 2x4 in there that fits in there, then accept it.
let's say it couldn't be a trailer load in the back of your pickup. Okay, I mean, we can be as creative as we want.
Well, above the
Back
side,
it way up.
go above the side
Right.
or something, that'd be a good idea. Can't go above the side of the truck itself. And that'll limit them, that'll stop a lot of the nonsense with these contractors and stuff. I keep harping on that, but I see it so much, it drives me like, I have to go down there, and they get wet, and I have to pull up there, and the guy, is a little aggressive, and I'm going, calm down. I said, we just can't, and all they do is, get a little silly, then they drove off and go to the next site, and I gotta track him, and I have to hand these flyers out with these trucks, but they've got creative, they changed trucks. If you look at 98 down there, Calhoun's building, I don't know how many times they swapped on, down there, they tore that down, and it ended up, I don't know where it ended up.
And so the takeaway then, the takeaway is that, that if it'll fit in the back of a truck, no matter what it is? What if it's busted up concrete?
Yeah.
Would that be accepted?
They could probably lift, I don't know, if they can lift.
Tires, we got a place for tires.
Well, tires are recycled, so we don't charge for that.
Right.
Are you saying that it's just prohibited materials that we're going to charge, and it's the only amount that we're gonna accept is in what's in the back of the truck?
Well, I think I'm hearing that, I mean, if it's on this that we say we accept it, like household trash,
Right.
the little yard trash, the bulk trash, little few small limbs that fit in the back of a truck, there should be no charge.
Correct.
But I understood the charge comes into play when we bring in the stuff that we really shouldn't be taking, that's where.
Right.
And that's your guys' call, I mean, if
That's the little bit of construction, like if you were tearing out, cleaning up the bathroom, redoing some stuff.
and you can look at the list and come up with a figure if you wanna do $20, whatever you wanna do. And I think that will push back on, now like me, if I took a load in, worked on my house and the stuff I just couldn't burn, and I took it in there, pulled up there and I had a pickup load up to the side, it's worth $20 to me to go ahead and put that in that container to get it out of my place. I mean, absolutely.
can't burn anything working on your house.
Well, I probably don't part.
Takeaway would be that there has to be, of course, you gotta put it out there to the public that this is what's gonna happen on this day. But then there's gotta be some pretty serious training for these employees.
I got it. I get it.
This is what we're gonna accept. This is when you charge, this is when you don't charge.
That's right.
And potentially have a, looking at a QR code system that is not coming in with cash.
Yeah, is it fair to say though that mainly our problem is with contractors? And not just your,
I think the city coming in and the contractors is a big deal. I seen a guy on Facebook the other day that was at the roll-off site advertising that he does cleanup. And he's from the city.
Gary can tell you this, I pulled up there one afternoon after the dump was closed on my dump site. Here's a trailer load of tires in a truck in the ditch. The tire salesman, he sold tires at the time. He had a semi-line, he had a man over at the dumpster inside the fence, one at the fence, one carrying it to the man at the fence. They had a semi-line going, filling up the dumpster with tires. And he had already charged $3 a piece when people bought the tires.
To dispose of.
He had already got that $3 from the people when he took their old tires. Y'all bought tires, they charge you to keep those tires.
that's not right.
But they were unloading the
Oh,
whole.
but we did.
And I could have called 911 and got them locked up, but he had them young boys that didn't need to go through all that. I thought they needed, I got them all up there and I talked to them. I said, y'all know your boss man's got y'all in a situation, y'all go to jail tonight. What you mean? I said, y'all are breaking the law, y'all are trespassing to start with, and you putting, you're doing something for your boss, he owns the tire store. And I said, that's, I said, what y'all done up in there, the rest of you need to go on down the road, and I let them go. And that was several years ago, but I brought it up at the time, you remember me saying that a long time ago? And we never did anything, me and Gary talked about it. What about the tires, Gary? Is it worth taking the tire?
We reap money from a grant to cover that. When I do a work plan on it and I allocate so much money a year for tires. So it's covered, basically, the tires are. What we get into is when they try to bring in oversized tires like tractor tires, semi tires and stuff. We try to keep it down to a truck, pickup tire and a passenger car. And we do pretty good on that. I'd like to say that the tire issue is just controlling the volume they bring in. I don't want a guy that does it for a living to unload his whole back field, you know what I'm saying? That ain't fair there. And they have a tendency to try to do that. They'll hit 4 sites and bring in 6 tires at a time, and people do that.
But
I
if you
seen on
limit
98, like, he had a whole truckload dumped out in the woods.
And they'll hit 4 or 5 sites.
I got a funny story for y'all, and some of y'all probably have already heard this story. But this has been several years ago. And I went to this particular roll-off, and, I had, some limbs that we had trimmed, some trees, and it was just, not big limbs, small limbs. And so I got up there and the roll-off attendant, he came out there, and he was talking and everything, and, I said, and he did not know who I was. And I said, do you get much, metal here? He went, oh, yeah, we get a good bit of metal here. And I said, well, do you have people that come in here and go over in the dumpster and try to get it? And he went, oh, no. He said, because I take it home. He said, I take it home with me. He said, because if I leave it, they're gonna do that. So he said, I take it home. He doesn't know to this day, he might know me by now, but I said, oh, okay. I never did say anything.
When I got some game camera, I'll tell this story. It's been a couple of years ago, I still do it. I was with my granddaughter in Orange Beach. She was at a tournament, and I put them in before I left, and this is no exaggeration, at one side, them coming in stealing metal, we put 9 people in jail that night. At one side. That's how many people were coming in there stealing metal. And law enforcement was having a good time, because I was watching them on video. They had a dog, they got creative. They turned the dog out. You see the guy run by the camera and see the dog right behind him. They caught every one of them. And they'd come by the camera because they knew who it was, and they'd go,
Oh, that's funny.
it was wild, and my grandkids were having the best time of their life watching like cops on my phone, they were going, but they caught 9 the first night. I guess they got certain schedules they go by when hey, it's my turn to go first down here or whatever, but we caught 9 that night. And just once, we catch them off and on, and we've done a lot better on that.
There's one that lives right there by the Bernard Johnson side. He's every night, when I come from my farm, I come out there after dark or right at dark, he's backed up there.
He's been put in jail several times.
Yes, yeah, and Gary's had to get after him right there.
Yeah, he's rough.
And they gonna do it, they just can't stand it, they gonna do it, But we gonna change the fence there for long. But they got fence beat down.
We got Salem lined up. I was gonna bring that up. We got that lined up. We're trimming there right now. I don't know if you've been by there. Yeah, we trimmed up.
Gary, do you want to go over the other cost information that we were asked to provide some numbers for potential efficiency? And that's on, I think, the second page of your handout.
Which one are you talking about?
This one, the cost information.
Oh, yeah.
And we also provided, so Gary did some counts.
Yeah, there's some counts on there.
Counts
We
in your-
did.
Just to give
It
you.
hasn't changed a whole lot from 2022, honestly. And the volume might be different, more stuff, but the count of people is pretty close. But on the cost information, like shutting down on Sundays, and when I looked at this thing for the church and, people going, it's hard to get coverage. But it was brought to my attention about the beach area, and the beach area is driven by people leaving on Sunday. So that might be an issue down there with that.
Big issue.
It would be, because it's tourist driven. And I rent down there and off and on, like Keaton Beach and stuff, and like a holiday might be on a Monday sometimes, but we have left on a Sunday, and you gotta take your trash off, or the person that you rent from gets very upset with you and charges you. So that might be an issue. But it was $53,660.87 if everybody shut down. Now, the counties around us, I'd say 95% of them, they do not work on Sundays, but they don't have a beach area to put it. It's a different environment with that.
Well, Gary, what's wrong with Wednesday or Tuesday?
Whatever,
Thursday?
yeah, it's fine. I mean, we can do a Wednesday. I mean, the biggest challenge is on Sunday, it's the end of the weekend for us. And if we have high volumes, I have to call out truck drivers and stuff like that to haul from. But whatever you guys decide. Now,
Well, and if the sites get full, then we have had to close some sites
have.
early on a Sunday, like a holiday
we got
weekend.
abused,
Because the landfill is closed.
But
So,
I believe that though, with us making this change with just a pickup.
that would probably help, yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, I did look at, I threw Iridu out there. It wasn't very much money, cost savings on it. It's close to Shady Grove, but it's only $12,000. It's about, I think the time wise, same as Salem, 3 days a week and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
let me tell you something. Commissioner English, this $12,000 here is not worth the grief. To shut that irritated roll.
I would not disagree.
I would not disagree either.
I would not disagree.
Well, I think that was just something that we were requested to provide some numbers.
Yeah, we were just looking at it.
Just looking
And
at
when I
that.
pulled it up, I told Wanda, I said, that ain't a lot of money for all
I
that.
don't know that it is.
And then, closing at 6 year round. The 7 o'clock was kind of designed for the people at the mill work and shift work and everything. There's a little cost savings on it. We close about 6 months out of the year at 6 o'clock. And then yet, because of daylight savings time, it's dark, we don't have lighting out there and stuff. If we closed at 6, maybe a little cost savings at each site there for the year. That's 26 weeks on that. So that's about it.
Gary, do you think there's still a lot of people who go to the sites between 6 and 7?
There may be, but I could do a time study on that and see how many do show up after 6 o'clock.
They'll get used to 6 o'clock. I think they'll just switch.
It's easy to schedule too with the 6 o'clock,
But some of your employees don't get off work till 5:30.
But they don't work 7 days a week.
No.
Right.
They can hit the weekend.
So in reference to Sundays, and I see a couple of comments and boys to attend church. I mean, I have a problem with it. If folks for sure want to attend church, then,
My people are older,
would there
they,
be any disconnect in, I mean, I know people leaving the beaches area, probably morning time, but I'm just thinking if closed on that, or open on that, maybe 2 o'clock.
you could, and I thought about that 2 to 7 too.
On Sunday, give them, still go to church when they can make it,
Well, I think, some of those folks have times that have to be gone. So if you're moving those, you're gonna, I understand and I want to accommodate every way we can for folks attending worship. But I also understand that there may be folks that it wouldn't conflict with, so if we can work with our staff, that don't have that conflict, or maybe they go to worship in the evenings, so I mean, just think that flexibility in being able to continue to operate these sites, knowing that, we're not just doing that because we want to be able to say we've got a site open on Sunday, but that there are, those rentals, or there are those folks that have that need. So, in specific, in Blue Springs and Steenhatchee. So, I mean, when we know that volume of rentals and all these folks are having to try to get things ready, for other folks that'll be coming in. So, I just think that conversation, if we can understand with members of staff, that won't have that conflict or are able to, flex their schedule to be able to accommodate that.
Gary, how many sites are open on Sundays? Do you remember off the top of your head?
All of them but 2.
Yeah.
Salem and Iridu are not open Sunday.
Madison County, none is open.
I know.
I think Live Oak, Lake City and all them, they don't,
I mean,
If you got multiple people leaving Bailey County on Sunday afternoon, it needs flushed up garbage.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just cause they like to do it, but that's required.
That's been had you at the beach and at East River. When people leave, they continue, they head back to Georgia, they dump their trash.
Right.
I mean, that's just what they do.
Have to be at 11 o'clock, probably.
I mean, we could, have to make that change at this given moment, but it's something that we could potentially think about.
just something to think about.
It's something to think about, but I think doing truck loaders, just to pick up truck loaders, that's a start.
Well, and I think another issue that we may have to face is, you know, we lost our recycle building with Helene. It's currently being rebuilt. And Gary, help me remember, did they say February?
I would think it'd be February. They're moving.
Be complete by February.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't even realize yet, you know, the foundation, they were gonna have to come back, you know, and maybe tear it up, well, they didn't, and, you know, it's just a long process. That building that size, you know, the structure of it is a challenge for what they're trying to do. And like it says here, we're driven by the inmate crew at that recycle barn. And I should have brought some pictures, but with one recycle tech and 2 inmates, they really can't even hardly stay up with the volumes we get. You'll be surprised at the volumes there'll be cardboard 30 foot high and 50, 60 foot in the middle of that building trying to keep up. And it never depletes. I have never, since I've been here, we have never caught up, and I'm going on 15, 16 years. We have never cleaned it out.
So depending on the availability of inmate labor, that may be a little bit of a challenge moving forward that we're going to have to look at, and we'll just have to see how all of that works out. But if we're not provided inmate labor, that's going to be a challenge. I think another big challenge that we face with recycle is some of the materials that we accept that we never can recycle. And, you know, we may want to see if there's any way I don't know if there's any way to limit any of that.
We could try to fine tune it. We've tried, but a lot of people, well, like we put, up here at the city, we put pictures of what we do accept, you know. They just, I mean, literally pictures of milk, you know, whatever. It's just a dumping ground. They just fill the containers up, you know, with whatever, styrofoam.
That's the problem. Why do you continue?
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up. Because
I don't mean that to say I don't want to work with our city partners. I'm just saying we can't continue to abuse that service and then collect items that we can't recycle or that contaminate the other items that they're in the city.
the plastic bottles are a big issue because there's only a certain type that can be recycled. So I feel like we spend a lot of time just sorting through plastic
There's not a lot
bottles.
of money, you know, we don't reap a lot from that. We probably lose money on that. We're just trying to keep it out of the landfill and we work through that.
And that's important. I mean,
And
but,
cardboard is the big ticket.
right. So when we get to the point where we resume our recycle operations, we may want to rethink what we actually accept, especially if we know that, you know, we may be limited as far as our labor force. Or we may have to hire additional people if we are not if inmate labor is not provided to us. You know, that may tie our hands a little bit. So we may only wish to accept cardboard as an example, and that wouldn't hurt our recycle program, would it?
They do it on a percentage of what, you know, we produce. And we do fairly well on the metal and on the cardboard. We do pretty good on that. And,
So I'm assuming that, these big stacks of cardboard has to be coming from like grocery stores, big box stores.
the box stores do their own.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
they
it's
do.
coming-
They have to track it with the state, so they do their own.
Amazon's what's bringing you cardboard boxes to you.
My wife,
I mean, it's just, that's a fact.
Yes.
The paper mill that makes cardboard is the only one still rolling.
I got a switch the other day and the box was as big
Yeah,
as
they
that
are.
desk.
No brainer.
So I think we need to really
We can fine tune
consider
it.
that, just so we're not handling large volumes of materials that can't even be recycled. I think that just creates a backload of materials that end up in the landfill anyway, because they cannot be recycled. And it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of
It's a lot of work.
We have to
It's
filter
too,
through.
because, you know, I thought that all plastic bottles weren't recyclable. I didn't know that. So I bet you a lot of people don't know
Yeah.
that. So, you know, I think we need to somehow or another try to educate people too.
And I think we'll have plenty of time before we start taking recyclable material. I mean, we're taking metal and all that now, but as far as resuming, you know, cardboard, newspapers, you know, we may just not want to handle plastic. And you know, that's something we can bring back to the board, but just something to think about. If we don't have the labor force, that's something we need to consider.
See what kind of feedback you get off of that.
What kind of plastic bottles you can't take? Milk bottles, milk jugs?
There's all kinds, it depends on the texture and the color of it. You know what I'm saying, multicolored and stuff like that, you can't
I
take.
see most people, put a little tobacco juice in those, Coke bottles. Is that the kind you can't take?
You can take like, you know, water bottles and stuff like that, stuff that's easy to manage.
It's all plastic, the
Stuff like
cardboard
that.
stuff.
But they'll bring in a plastic tote and throw in there, you can't recycle that.
You take Pepsi bottles.
We can't pass it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I fit that.
But we can get a list, that's easy, but.
Just wanted to bring us up while we were all talking about trash and our plans moving
And when we
forward.
get the building, you guys do need to come out and look at it, because the design I seen, what they're putting up, it's gonna be really, really nice. It's gonna be real nice.
We'll have new balers.
Yeah, everything's brand new.
Everything's brand new.
And, I tell you, the first hurricane damaged the back end of it, but that last hurricane, I didn't think was as bad as the first, but it looked like a bomb went off in the front of the structure. When I pulled up there that morning, I mean, I literally had to take a double take. I got out and I was going, I have no clue what caused this massive damage. Because that building was structurally pretty sound. I know it had some age on it, but the I-beams on that and everything ain't something you can just twist off. You know, it took a force. I don't know if something came through there or whatever, but it literally took it out. I was totally shocked. I mean, I thought it, you know, made a little more damage on the back end we were trying to get fixed. It wiped out the whole front of that, sides of that building like it just exploded. And, but the new one's gonna be really, what I'm seeing, it's gonna be state of the, it's a gain for us, cause that'll be there 40 years from now. 30, 40 years, it'll still be rolling. Our kids will be using it.
Trash, roll-off sites.
Just want to bring that.
This recap, this taking only pickup load, pickup. We're gonna train on when to charge and not charge, so to speak. And then maybe look at probably need to figure out what the charge is. And then maybe QR code system such as that.
An effective date, we're thinking January 1st, just so we'll have a clean.
I think it'd be a good start, and like I say, if it fails, we can back up and regroup. I mean, it's worth it. Doing nothing sometimes don't work, so it's worth a try. I mean, I think so. I mean, at least we got an A plan, and maybe we have to come up with a B plan. I don't know, but that'd be a good start.
Well, what about the stickers in the cars now? How are we gonna get away from the cars and go stuff in the stickers?
I think we just don't order any more cards, and if we can stay with the same color, we'll just go.
And I may have a
we'll just go
volume
to-
of stickers at my
We'll
office.
just go to decals.
Yeah, just maybe if someone's coming to get a new sticker, or they ask for a card, you're only doing stickers now.
Right.
That's right.
So we'll just stay with decals, and
And I think I have a bunch of them still, stickers versus more cards. I think so. When I glanced, we got a huge box of them, and guy comes in and, you know, we give him a sticker or whatever. I think that'd be, and basically give them 2 stickers, one for both vehicles or just one.
So my question is there a cost for a replacement sticker?
Like, I'm close charge for extra stickers. There's no reason we can't. If they got, the son's got a truck, they want him to carry the garbage to the dump, they need to buy him a sticker.
well, the only thing with that is then we're gonna have to pick a location where we can do that transaction and figure out how to, I mean, and we can do it, but I don't think we want We can't take cash at the roll-off site, so that's gonna tie our hands.
But if you're setting up a QR system, can't you have an option in there for
Decal purchase.
decal and then trash?
So that we don't handle any cash at all.
Well, I think two things. I think if you've got a code that tracks it, like you were saying earlier, as far as the clerk's office, you would know who that individual is that purchased that. So it wouldn't just be Joe Public. You could confirm it through, solid waste or the attendant, that it's somebody that has paid the assessment. And then it's not, every time they come down there, they purchase another, sticker.
Right.
That way, you do have a system that's somewhat of a check and balance, and not having to have cash.
So if I've got a sticker and they never change colors, and obviously they don't have a date on them, or is it gonna have a 2-year date from, so no date on it at all? So is the roll-off attendant gonna have to go out and physically look at every sticker for every vehicle
That's
that
the only way you
comes
can
through?
police it.
That's the only way to do it. I mean, they get to know certain people.
Yeah.
So I think it would be people they are not
And if
familiar
you had it
with.
on the bumper of your truck or on the windshield, they just glance over there like, and if they put it on the door jam, but normally, just like, Harrison Blue out there, that guy probably knows 90% of who has a sticker and who don't. And they'll pull up there and say, hey, Joe, hey, Bill, hey, they grew up together, worked at somewhere.
Motherfuckers go in there on the side sides. I do, but just saying it will.
You on the sabotage side.
Sorry.
But I think you guys with the pickup load and all that, I think it's a good thing moving forward with that and give us opportunity to see if we can clean this up a little bit. I honestly appreciate you guys looking at that because it's a lot of grief that we go through and when I go down there, the last thing I want to do is battle these people. When I get the call, I have to go down there. I'm like the enforcer, when I go down there and they're already, man, when you get there, so there's no way to get around it. They're already
Well,
like,
you're big enough to take care of them.
well, and I don't want to have to, go medieval on somebody over garbage.
I didn't see that in here. Is that the next sheet? That goes in.
And 90% when I get out of the truck, they usually calm down. You still got some people that don't.
Well, it's just like, Commissioner English, that you said in the beginning, people don't like change. Change is difficult, and you'll have some, probably quite a few people that are not gonna be happy because it's change. But I think that our message to the citizens is that, hey, we're doing everything we can to save your taxpayers money. And this is a trial, we're gonna see it, we appreciate if you help us to make this work. And if we find something that's not working, then we'll revisit and see if we can come up with a better, solution. But I think it's how you spin it, and you just gotta talk to people, and some people still, even when you talk to them, they're not gonna wanna accept it, but, it's just, they don't want their taxes raised, well, they don't want their, fee every year increase either,
And another thing that we can do, I just thought about this, why don't we, on our permit applications for construction or demolition, why don't we just ask who is taking care of your construction debris, or put a blurb in there, we do not accept construction debris at our roll-off sites. We can even ask them for a copy of their contract, just to make people start thinking, however you want to do
It
it.
communicates that
You have to have a plan for your
it's
debris.
an additional requirement.
And I see people driving around, you guys see it too. There is a lot of trucks hauling containers. You got Pops, Waste Pro, a bunch of them, a lot more than we ever seen before in
Right,
town
yeah.
here. So a lot of people are using that system. And, like at my house, I got one at my house right now, because I'm still cleaning up from it. And, I got wood debris and stuff like that, I'm still working on. And the cost of it is minimum compared to me loading it on a trailer, hauling it all the way to the roll-off and unloading it again, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna do
I know
that.
quite a few people leading up to this meeting, and that's about that scenario, and a lot of them, all of them really said that, you know, whenever they had construction, they brought in a can, on site. Wasn't no big deal for them, it was easy for them, they didn't have to handle it, they put it in the can, and somebody got rid of it.
Right, I can get get my tractor Bobcat, lift it up and dump it in. I'm done with that, you know, and I ain't spending 3 days moving that stuff around.
Yeah.
And that's my idea. I'm a fan of that.
All right. Anything else, everyone?
That's fine, we making progress with it.
Very good, well, I know we talked about this item a lot, so appreciate everybody putting their heads together, and hopefully, the change will go well. So, if nothing else, the, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.